Hi, and welcome to the SleepSat training workshop. I'm Heath. I handle the support line here at Patient Safety. If you have any other questions after the end of this webinar, please give me a call. I would love to help. But today we'll be going over the resources available to you as a patient safety customer. We'll be going over the use of the SAT Screen Connection Center in tandem with the SleepSat device. We'll also be going over the best practices document that we've taken the time to put together. And last but not least, we'll be watching a patient video together. To get started, I'd like to go over the resources available to you as a patient safety customer. To do that, what we're going to do is close that. We're going to go to sleepsat.com/resources. Or just go to our website and click the resources button. The first thing you're going to see on the resources tab is our how-to video series, which can help you download the connection center, use the connection center, use the SleepSat for the first time, and navigate the SatCloud web portal, which we'll be going over in a little bit. If you scroll down, again, we have those video links, and we also have some annotated reports that if you're looking at the SAT screen report and you've got a couple of questions, these documents can be a great resource. Next, we have all the publications that we've either been mentioned or have assisted in. And further down, we have the guides and manuals for both devices that we support. I recommend going through these guides and manuals for whichever devices you have in your office. We also have FAQ and troubleshooting for both the SleepSat and the Konica Minolta 300i. Again, I would recommend going through that for whichever devices you have in your office, just because it can help mitigate any issues here in the future. All right, so that's the resources tab. We'll be coming up back to the SleepSat best practices document here in a little bit. But next, I'd like to go over the use of the SleepSat 3D high resolution pulse oximeter in tandem with the SAT Screen Connection Center. To do that, as you can see, I do not have the connection center open first. The first step is to charge your SleepSat for an hour prior to downloading. By charging it for an hour prior to downloading, you're going to mitigate any issues of the patient not charging the device or just returning the device very low on battery because they were using it. Once the device is charged, you're going to hold down the power button until the device says probe off. What this does is if the patient took off the probe while it was still recording, by turning it on first, you get it out of that record only mode. Now that it says probe off, we're going to plug it into the computer. You should have just heard it connect. Once it's plugged in, at that point, we'll come back to our desktop or however you'd like to open it and open the SAT Screen Connection Center. Once the connection center is open, you're going to be able to look at your SleepSat and you're going to notice that it's counting down. It's a second counter. We call them frames, and depending on how much data is on your device is how many frames the device has to count down. As you can see here, it just started syncing. And if I look at my SleepSat, it's counting down from 43. The exact number does not matter. I just use this device a lot, so I know what it counts down from. Once it's done counting down, here you can see waiting for device not connected. That's going to disappear and our reports will show up there. If you plug the device in and you don't see waiting for device not connected disappear, most likely the device just isn't connected properly. Go ahead, go through that turn on, plug in, open up connection center process again, and it should connect, and that waiting for device not connected should disappear. As you can see, we now have one study that's 3 hours, 43 minutes, and 27 seconds. If we had not seen a study appear here, what I would recommend you do is above this light blue criteria box, select show all recordings. What this page does, or what this tab does, is show every single recording that the device creates, and then the software combines into a report. In the case that your patient just didn't have a good fitment on the device or on the probe, or it came off early throughout the night, or they just never turned it on, show all recordings is going to do a great job of giving you that information. But first, to download, we're going to just go to show sleep studies that match criteria. We're going to make sure that our study that we'd like to download is checkmarked. Because there's only one, it already is. At that point, we're going to enter our patient's name. This is John Doe. And then we're going to enter the patient's birthday. John was born on 2/5. 5/21. And then we're going to hit start downloads. Again, that process was entering the first name, last name, and the birth date of the patient, confirming that the reports you would like to download are checkmarked. If there are multiple, we would checkmark multiple, and then hitting start downloads. Once you hit start downloads, as you can see, it's going to start a process of uploading that data to our server and then giving you back a report. Normally, this process takes between 30 seconds and a minute. Some of my bandwidth is being taken up by Zoom, though, so it's going to take a little bit longer, even though it's a short report. What you're going to notice is as soon as I get a report, I'm going to close it out. I have no reason to keep that report on my computer because both the raw data and the PDF are automatically saved to our SAT Cloud web portal. So in this instance that your front office handles downloading from the device and someone else in the office would like to just view that report, they don't need to have the device and they don't need the report like we just got emailed to them or sent to them any other way. They could just log into the SAT Cloud web portal and retrieve it there. Now that we have a report, I'm just going to go ahead and close out of that, make my way back to the connection center. And then I'm going to get the device ready for the next patient. To do that, first I'm going to hit set device clock. Okay, it's going to take between 1 to 3 seconds, honestly. And then okay again. Now that we've set the device clock, we're going to hit clear device recordings. Similar to set device clock, you'll hit okay and then okay again. This is my demo device. I'm going to hit cancel, but you would hit okay and then okay again. Now with the device cleared and the device clock set, I would recommend plugging the device in, just letting it sit on the charger. The devices are designed to do it, and then it'll be ready for your next patient. But now that our device is ready for the next patient, let's say we want to go retrieve that report. To do that, the best way that we have is to just hit view all reports, and that's going to bring you to the SAT Cloud web portal. The first tab you're going to see is the patients tab, where every single patient that we've downloaded is listed in alphabetical order by first name. And if there was more than one page, we can tab through here. Also, we can just search by first name or last name. So I'm going to search John. There's John Doe. All right, the first thing I would like to point out is, let's say that John Doe's birthday is not February 5th. We want to change that. To change that, we hit this blue pencil button, and then we change the birth date there. Once our changes are made, we hit this green save key. To take this information and put it onto a report, we hit this green generate report key. And what that'll do is make all our changes onto the PDF. Before hitting that generate report button, those changes will not be placed onto the report. Now is a great time to point out a new feature that we have, which is our mild risk alert, which is this yellow outline, our moderate risk alert, which is this red outline, and our high risk alert, which is the red filled in. All of these alerts are scientifically backed, and you can not only get those references, but also see the defaults and change those defaults here under the profile tab. And we'll go over that here in a moment. But to finish off this patient tab, at the bottom of a patient profile, we have the multi-night snapshot. You can change what reports go onto this multi-night snapshot by checking and unchecking these boxes. As you can see here, me checking, put more data points onto each one of those graphs. If you would like to get a PDF version or a printable version for your patient, just hit this multi-night PDF button, and that's a much easier way for them to take, view, and see how they're improving with your treatment. To return to the mild, moderate, and high risk alerts and how to change those if you'd like, we go to the profile tab. At the bottom of the profile tab, we can see all of the alert and their modifiers. And if you'd like to know more about, let's say, RDI, you can roll over this little I key, and it'll give you more information, not only about RDI, but also the backing of why these are the defaults that they are. In the case that you do make changes and you'd like to reset to default, that key is there. And you can also save your changes if you'd like to move past these defaults. Also under the profile tab, you can make changes to your profile by, again, hitting this blue pencil key, making your changes, including setting a new password, and then hitting the green save key. The next tab I'd like to point out is the Reports tab, where every single report that's been uploaded in chronological order of recording is displayed. And again, we can see our mild, moderate, and high risk alerts under the Reports tab. If you'd like to download directly from the Reports tab a PDF, just hit this red PDF key. The next tab I'd like to point out is the subscriptions. If you would like to add payment information, that's done using this blue plus sign, entering your card number and then the green save key. In the case that you would like another office member to have their own login to your account, that can be done using the Members tab by entering their first name, last name, and their email, and hitting invite user. They'll receive an email asking them to set up a password, and then they'll be able to log in with their own unique either email or username and their own unique password. Their permission levels can be changed using this drop down. Admin has all of the abilities we've gone over today in changing the profile and the subscription or payment information. Member can download reports and view reports, but they can't make changes to profile and subscription. The last tab I'd like to point out is the video tour, which we just added. And these are the videos that we saw on the resources page, but they're a little bit more accessible here if you have any questions about navigating the SatCloud web portal directly. All right, at this point, I would like to go over the best practices document that we've taken the time to put together, and that is found at the sleepsat.com/resources under SleepSat FAQs and troubleshooting. If we select that, the first point is charging, and we've gone over this a little bit, but I would like to highlight it. Prior to downloading from a SleepSat, go ahead and charge it for an hour. Once you have the device prepared for the patient, before sending it out with the patient, we do recommend having it charged for at least 4 hours. And a lot of our offices that are having a lot of success with the device are just leaving it on the charger, making sure it's ready for the next patient. The next section is the patient instructions and passing out the device to your patient. When doing that, we recommend having them watch our patient video with a staff member. Once they've finished watching the video, having the patient demonstrate what they've learned and possibly what they've misunderstood. And then that staff member has a great opportunity to correct and confirm that everything is understood on what the patient needs to do once they have the device at home. At this point, I would like to watch that patient video with you. Please note, this is on 1.5 speed. So it's going to sound a little bit weird, but to be respectful of your time, we are going to watch it on a faster speed. I will be pausing it to highlight certain aspects of the video.
An oximetry test has been ordered by your clinician to monitor your oxygen levels and heart rate while you sleep. There is no alarm on the SleepSat device, and it is not intended for real-time monitoring. For best results, remove nail polish. Avoid laying on the hand with the sensor, putting it above your head, or tucking it underneath a pillow. Turn the oximeter on only when you're in bed and ready to fall asleep. If the finger sensor irritates your finger, switch to a different finger. Charge device fully between nights. To begin, take out the patient instructions, finger sensor, and the SleepSat device. Remove your watch and any jewelry you are wearing as well. When you're ready to fall asleep, step 1, plug finger sensor into SleepSat wrist unit.
When plugging the probe into the SleepSat wrist unit, you'll notice at the top of the probe, there is a small bump. That lines up with a small notch on the SleepSat. By confirming those two line up, it's still going to be a firm plug-in process, but it's not going to take all of your strength.
Step 2, put wristband on your non-dominant arm. Adjust to fit. Step 3, insert one of your fingers into the sensor. Make sure your finger is inserted completely. Your fingertip should touch the end of the sensor.
This is a good opportunity to point out what that means exactly. There's a small tab on the end of the probe. Push your finger in until it barely touches that tab. Your finger should not be laying that tab down, and it also shouldn't just be floating in the middle of the probe. That's going to get the best results of both recording and fitment.
Step 4. Press N on the power button firmly until the display lights up. Lie still for 2 minutes before falling asleep. If the finger sensor comes off or is removed during the night, or if the wrist unit continually flashes send off, put the sensor back on, making sure your finger is inserted completely. Press the power button firmly until the display lights up.
A more concise way to say that to your patients is saying if when they wake up in the middle of the night, they do not see a red light being emitted from the end of the probe, go ahead and hold down that power button until they see that red light return. In a dark room, that'll be very evident.
Step 5. In the morning, take the oximeter off. The oximeter will turn off automatically after 2 minutes.
When taking the oximeter off, have your patient take off both the probe and the watch at the same time. Let it turn off by itself. Once it's turned off, then go ahead and unplug that probe and plug the device in if it's for multiple nights.
If testing multiple nights, return the finger sensor to the carrying case for safe storage and plug the SleepSat into the USB charger. Charge the SleepSat for 4 to 6 hours, then repeat the test the next night. At the scheduled drop-off time, return all equipment as instructed by your healthcare provider. That's the end of this video. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching that with me. Again, that was on 1.5 times speed. So it'll sound a little bit more normal. My voice will be a little bit less distorted if you watch it with your patients. The rest of to continue with the best practices document, when cleaning the SleepSat, we do recommend only using approved cleaners. 70% isopropyl alcohol wipes or the solution with a cloth is recommended. Using the non-approved cleaners can break down both the probe and the watch. Something else that we get a lot of questions on is the capacity of the device. The device has 70 hours of capacity, and depending on how long your patient is sleeping for, that's between 5 to 6 studies total. By doing the best practices of clearing the device off every single time you get it back from a patient, it's going to make it a lot easier to stay under that data cap and also manage the data on the unit. But that's all of the content I've prepared for this webinar. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat or use the raise hand feature. If you do have any questions that you think of after this webinar, please go ahead and just send an email or give our support line a call. I'd love to help. All right, doesn't look like we have any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and end the call. You all have a wonderful day.